Hey boys and girls, this is where I left off last time, which was Tuesday. It's now Friday. Last Tuesday I had to work late, or it's been just not good timing to work on it. I got now till Sunday still to fix it. Got the upper intake off so far. That's about it. I'm gonna continue with and show you how to basically do the rest of it. I'm not sure how far I'm gonna get today. I'm hoping I'll get the intake off, the valve covers off, all of the accessories on the front end off. Be ready to pop that head off tomorrow or something. But yeah. First thing I gotta do is I got to disconnect these couple of plugs, and then I have to take these bolts off, these couple of nuts off, and I'll pull that whole assembly off, and then I'll be ready to pull the injectors out and the coolant temperature out. That'll be basically all the wiring harness would be off of the top of the engine. I'll show y'all how to do that basically here in just a moment. Alright guys, the most basic way, this is how you take the injector harness off of a fuel injector. These little orange things, these are 19-pound injectors that come stock on 302s and 351s. Can put bigger injectors on there, but these are stock ones. And they have these two clips. They have a little clip. Oh, where's the camera? Oh, there it is. They have a little clip on this side and one on the opposite side over here. It's pretty simple. I mean, it's just like the other clip I showed you. Put your screwdriver down in there. Turn it out. Oop, I broke it. Yeah, that's the only problem with these. They get old and brittle and they like to break. Yeah, I mean, you get the general idea. You pull it off, and then your whole wiring harness will be able to come off, because all these other little clips and clips and stuff are all unhooked. All these loose ends, you gotta keep track of where all these go. They all go somewhere. Just gotta remember them. They all fit only one way on some things, but it does help to remember where they're at. You also gotta unhook the alternator and stuff, just to remind you. Remember to always unhook your battery when you're working on your truck. Something this in depth, or with the charging system, you gotta unhook the battery, or else you're gonna be electrocuted. Basically, best way I can explain it. All right, I'm gonna get to the next step, and I'll start showing y'all again what y'all gotta do. All right, guys, as you can see, I got the bracket for the coil bracket off. It's just a couple 11mm bolts right here on top of the intake bolts. Now I'm ready to get ready to pull the fuel rails, and so yeah, give me just a moment. Alright guys, one thing to remember whenever you're trying to pull this fuel rail off, you need to purge the fuel system, which is how you do it is you open this little top and you put a really small screwdriver down in there, and make sure you're not really close because it'll squirt fuel out. Takes all the pressure off the fuel rails. Make sure you don't break anything. So just a reminder, that way also whenever you're pulling the fuel injectors out, the fuel don't go everywhere because of pressure on them. They'll still squirt a little bit of fuel. You still get a little bit of fuel everywhere. Also, there's some bolts right here. There's a bolt about on this back side, down back here, and it's the same on the other side. You'll have to take off to get the fuel injectors out. What I always do, I just take the bolt out, set it on the front end of the truck. Then when I get the fuel injectors out, I put them back in the intake. That way I don't lose them. So yeah. Also, to pull the injector out, all you gotta do is just wiggle it a little bit, pop the O-ring loose, and see, there they're out. See them little holes, and then I'm gonna put the bolts back in the hold down spots for the injector harness for the fuel rail, so that way I don't lose them. Less bolts to lose makes it easier to put it back together. Also helps you remember where the bolts are at or where the bolts go. Also for them bolts, it's just a little 8mm wrench socket. I just use my 1/4 inch drive wrench, a little cheapo, El Cheapo, Pittsburgh brand, Harbor Freight. That's what all my sockets are, and all my extensions are, is Harbor Freight stuff, and I ain't had any trouble out of it, so you know what, I'm gonna keep using it. Alright, I got the intake, all the bolts loose on the intake, and I'm ready to pull it. I've already propped it sort of loose. I had to put a bucket under the truck, I forgot about it. I'm living in an apartment. We ain't supposed to work on trucks, vehicles. Oops. Don't tell nobody. Alright, I'm gonna try to find a spot to set this camera. A spot to view this. So yeah. What I always do, I just put one hand towards the back, one hand in the front, and I have to crawl up on my truck actually. Actually kind of tough sometimes. All the bolts are loose. Let's pull the hose off real quick. And there she flows. There it goes. And she's loose. I'm gonna pull all the way the rest of the way off. So yeah, there she is, Deep Valley Pan, 351 Windsor. They were at my apartment maintenance crew. They didn't say nothing to me. Whew. Alright, now the next step you gotta take is you gotta pull these gaskets off. I copper coated mine last time I had it apart. Makes them stick a little bit better, gets a little bit better of a mating surface. Kind of fills up any irregularities, whatever, however you say it. And then you got the little cork gaskets right here. I'll try to pull them loose. You always need a good gasket scraper too. And I will say this, Harbor Freight, ours is pretty good. I'm sure there's better out there. I think it's like $1.49 or something. You can't really beat it. Man, did I not bring my gasket scraper? Crap. I gotta walk all the way back inside. As you can see, that snow's actually finally melting here. Today's the first day it's actually getting above freezing. I think the weekend, today it got up to about 40 degrees. I think the weekend's supposed to be about 40, 35, 40 all weekend. So, pretty good, well, pretty decent wrenching weather. Not the best, but not too bad either. At least it's not a blizzard or anything. Not like it was last Sunday night. Alright, there's the gasket scraper. Yeah, this is the Pittsburgh Harbor Freight gasket scraper. Don't use a screwdriver, that'll scar up the surfaces. Anyways, let's go back out there and scrape that gasket, baby. Chicken cordon bleu the woman's cooking is smelling good. Anyways, back up here by the truck. I'll drop that intake inside my cab real quick. Alright, I'm also going to give y'all kind of a warning. Just a fair warning. If you break a intake bolt, and you want to, if it's a certain couple bolts and you want to put it together the way it came from the factory, be prepared to get raped on the cost. The factory Ford bolts, They're very rare now. I know I had to go buy some. When I took it apart the first time, I broke one of the intake bolts, and it was like $10 a bolt or some crazy ridiculous amount. Because there's so few of them left. You can go aftermarket and get them from like ARP or something. But like I said, once again, if you want to do it like the factory had them, be prepared to get raped on the cost because it is expensive. Certain bolts, certain ones of the intake bolts, they are actually $35. I got lucky; I didn't break them. Those are the coil bracket bolts, the ones that hold the coil on. That's why those are so expensive, because they're those long ones that you saw me unbolting the coil bracket from. Those are the really expensive ones. So yeah, as you can see, with a good gasket scraper, taking care of that gasket won't take much. Lucky for me, I have one. Once again, I recommend anyone that's going to do any kind of work like this to get one. It makes it a hell of a lot easier. Oh, that hurts. Kind of caught my way blows a little bit. My cojones. Being cold really does not help any. Got lucky the first time I did this, the daggum gasket came off of the intake. It wasn't stuck to the block like this one is. I used a lot of RTV black on it too, though. That's part of it. That's part of the problem. Further up in here. Hey guys, now I'm basically ready to pull this belt and to start pulling these passenger side accessories off. I'm only doing the passenger side head gasket because the driver's side I did, whenever I did it the first time, I did both of them. It sealed up just fine. I did a head swap at the same time. So basically, I'm only going to do the passenger side one this time. Just hope it doesn't give me any issues this time like it did last time. Other than that, there ain't really a whole lot I can show you about taking off the belt. If you ought to be able to take off the belt pretty easily. Wow, this RTV black is really a pain in the butt. But anyways, yeah, I'm gonna get to the point where I can take these accessories off. I'm gonna take the bracket off and unhook some of the wires.